It's the dream of every cricketer, the ultimate glory. Few manage to keep their date with destiny. But for many, it's been heartbreaks and a cross to bear. The Holy Grail is here in India. I'm Rupha Ramani, and Firstpost brings you the ringside view. We bring you the Cup of Dreams. Cricket World Cup coverage like never before.
It's over! He's done it again! Unbelievable!
Oh, straight into the roof of the net.
Nice one.
Straight down the middle. So a good...
Hi, welcome. You're watching Firstpost. I'm Rupha Ramani. Let's get started. Now, the Indian cricket team is on a roll. Very few have achieved unbeaten title runs. Just two countries, and they were the best in the world at some point, have managed to do this. Sides who were menacing and had that edge. This Indian team has been absolutely dangerous on the field and a bundle of smiles and laughter off it. They are a new Team India under a very solid leadership of Rohit Sharma. What are my 10 reasons for Team India's successful run so far? Stay tuned for that. And it's prediction time at the World Cup. Who are the top two favourites to go through to the final face-off? Also, we get you a comeback story like none other from the world of tennis, of a former world number one who has battled depression and loneliness to want to come out and fight once again. All that and more lined up today for you. But first, a look at the headlines from around the world of sports in Sports 360. The International Cricket Council has revealed the latest cricketing icons that are to be inducted into the ICC Hall of Fame as the class of 2023. Following a voting process, the three names will be added to the prestigious list of legends, and they are Virendra Sehwag, Diana Adilji and Aravinda De Silva. In tennis, Novak Djokovic will be ending the year as world number one for a record 8th time. This after he beat Holger Rune at the ATP Finals in Turin. The 24-time Grand Slam champion overcame the Dane in his opening green group match at the season-ending event. The victory extends Djokovic's winning run to 19 consecutive matches. In football, a Premier League thriller between Chelsea and Man City ended in a draw. This despite the Blues conceding the lead 3 times. Chelsea picked up a stunning point after a dramatic late penalty, ending the game 4-all. Former City ace Cole Palmer equalised from the penalty spot in the 95th minute. City had earlier scored through Manuel Akanji, Rodri and a double in fact, from Erling Haaland. With a victory against Brentford, Liverpool maintained their 100% record at Anfield this season. Salah scored twice as Liverpool moved up to second in the Premier League points table. The win means Liverpool have 27 points and move ahead of Arsenal on goal difference after the match. Brentford are in 10th place. US's legendary football star Megan Rapinoe's final game took an unexpected turn. She sustained an early injury just minutes after she stepped onto the field. This was during the match between Old Rain and NJNY Gotham in California. Now, the Indian cricket team looks dangerous, unstoppable, and the confidence at a home World Cup is sky high. They beat Netherlands in Bengaluru rather convincingly and unsurprisingly to keep their unbeaten streak intact heading into what is the most crucial phase of the tournament. The semi-finals are upon us, so it's only fair after the last league match that India played to look at what are the 10 takeaways from their campaign so far, the 10 highlights, and this is in no particular order. So let's begin with number 1, Rohit Sharma leading from the front. Now, he's been an excellent leader, enjoying the pressure of playing at a World Cup at home. He's making the right bowling changes and his strategies are paying off too. He has an easy demeanour as captain and that seems to be working with this bunch. There's a sense of the collective greater good to be scored and that single-minded focus, so nothing on the sidelines is coming in the way of the team looking in sync. And a lot of that credit goes to Rohit. He's also setting the right example at the top with his batting, playing selfless attacking innings to set the tempo and take the pressure off those who follow him, whose main roles are well defined. He has scored 500 plus runs in consecutive World Cups now, equaling Sachin's record set way back in 1996 and 2003 World Cups. Number 2, Virat King Kohli playing like one. Now, we've seen the lows of Virat and the highs, both equally dramatic. While leading the side, somehow you saw the strain of it all. All of that seems like a distant memory at this point. Virat Kohli has looked ominous, and with 49 centuries to his name in ODIs, he's looking in the perfect possible shape with the bat. The odd low scores are not a bother because he looks like he's surely enjoying himself out there, even taking that extra pleasure in rolling his arm over like we saw the previous evening. They say the health of your batting is almost always reflective of the health of the best batter in your lineup, and this Indian batting lineup is surely in the pink of its health. If we speak about Virat Kohli's ODI World Cups, that he's featured in from 2011 onwards, that's his average in 2011, around 35. And his average in each of those editions, starting with that 35, just keeps increasing. That's 50 he's averaging in 2015. And if you look at the next edition in 2019, he was averaging 55.37. They reached the semi-final there, losing to New Zealand. And now in this World Cup, his average is 99. That's quite a revelation. How he has just kept increasing his performances. Moving on to the next point then. And that tells a story. Bumrah leading the bowling attack. Would you even think that this man was out of competitive cricket, out of international cricket with a career-threatening back injury that kept him away for more than a year? That's how Bumrah is bowling. He may not be the top wicket taker, but he has been instrumental in striking fear and hesitation in batters all through, then opening the doors for his colleagues to fire in and get those wickets. He's leading one of the best attacks for India in World Cups. At the start of the World Cup, we spoke about Bumrah being critical and how the way he comes back would set the tone for the side. Now, he well and truly has done that. He's being absolutely accurate, and the line and length has been diligent, even on the flattest of tracks here at the World Cup. The Indian bowling unit somehow looks different when Bumrah is part of it. Moving on to the next point, and that is turning the setback to a strength. Hardik Pandya's injury created a bit of a worry line across the Indian think tank. They were keen on his inclusion in the 11 to add that extra dimension of batting and very useful bowling. But his injury just completely put them on the back foot, forcing them to make 2 changes and get in Mohammad Shami and Surya Kumar Yadav. And boy, how that paid off. The Indian team was looking good, but after Shami's inclusion in particular, the Indian side has looked menacing. They didn't wallow or try to get bogged down by their plans going awry mid-tournament. And even from Shami's point of view, here was a key bowling asset who was warming the bench, and he came in and hit the ground running with a stunning fifer against the Kiwis, who they are facing next up. Shami has been one of the top performers with the ball and a standout exponent of the art of swing bowling in these conditions. He has been clinical and absolutely difficult to face in most venues. And the way India tapped into an unfortunate episode to turn it around into one that has worked wonders just puts them another step up above the other contenders. Moving on to number 5, giving Siraj the long rope. Now, Mohammad Siraj is a very emotional and passionate person. We know the kind of tough years he had growing up, losing his father in the middle of a series during the pandemic, and how Siraj turned that into giving him strength. He has always pushed himself to perform. The World Cup did not start the way it should have for him. He was not consistent, and his initial performances weren't reaping in the rewards. He was not all too successful or diligent in his spells, but the Indian team persisted with him without trying to put in someone else, like they did with Shardul too, till the Hardik Pandya injury, of course. And that paid off. Shami's inclusion, in fact, too, probably rubbed off on Siraj and helped him just bowl that much better. Then a few matches, like the one against Sri Lanka, saw Siraj just get back into the rhythm. It just took some additional patience on the part of the management and his very own perseverance to yield results. That again, a hallmark of a true champion side. Number 6 then, India's spin unit. Now, there was a lot of talk of the spinners setting the pace for India at the World Cup. And though the pacers have hogged all the limelight, the spin duo of Ravindra Jadeja and Kuldeep Yadav have done their job rather commendably. Jadeja has proved to be dynamic with both bat and ball. He has choked the opposition in the middle overs, and Kuldeep seems to have matured in this tournament. Even when he has been hit, he has found a way to come back and dig deeper. The two have created the perfect pressure in the middle overs that has aided in the Pacers carrying it forward and closing it out at the death. In fact, this is one key aspect that India has triumphed over most teams. They boast of one of the best spin units in the entire tournament. That takes me to number 7, Shreyas Iyer, the number 4 fix. Now, it's a position that has plagued Indian cricket at many World Cups. Who will bat at number 4? And there was additional concern with Shreyas Iyer coming back after an injury. The fact that he even played a match on comeback at the Asia Cup and then sat out some more games definitely wasn't something the Indian team was all too kicked about heading into the World Cup. But Shreyas turned that around and has shouldered the responsibility of shepherding the middle order rather smoothly. He has stuck to his role admirably, and that has reflected in his numbers. Moving to another comeback man as well then. And that's number 8, KL Rahul, filling Rishabh Pant's shoes. Now, when Rishabh Pant's accident happened, the Indian team management's hopes sank. Rishabh is one of those key components of the Indian ranks. He is an explosive batter who gives that much needed impetus at the bottom half, and one of the best wicket keepers. His constant chirping behind the stumps is an added bonus. Now, KL Rahul is not in the similar mold as a Rishabh Pant, but somehow they have made it work. They have defined what his role as number 5 would be, and he has absolutely nailed that. But what has impressed many is his agility, his alertness, and the speed that he has had behind the wicket. His safe hands have shown through the tournament time and again, winning the Best Fielder award that the dressing room has been doing every match. Which brings me to the next point, which is camaraderie in the dressing room. Now, this has really captured everyone's eyes and quite apparent to see too. The camaraderie and energy in the Indian dressing room. We all know that a campaign can make or break itself just with the vibes that the dressing room shares. A good, happy dressing room is often replicated by good, positive performances on the field. And this Best Fielder initiative has also played its part in not just motivating players to be the best, but also share some laughs and smiles that will go a long way in team bonding. There is that ease in the dressing room. There is no visible hierarchy or a senior-junior divide, and it is all clearly stemming from the very top, which has made its way to all across the team. It's infectious, and the performance are also a result of that brotherhood. Moving on to the 10th point, and this is what we thought would actually break this side or probably put them into that added pressure. The fact that they're playing at a World Cup, which is at home. And it's possibly the most important point. Indian cricket team playing a World Cup at home is a different monster. It's not easy being an Indian cricketer when the weight of billions of people is squarely on the shoulders of the men in blue. But somehow they have turned this around to make it work for them. They have somehow managed to take the pressure aspect out of the equation entirely. They're enjoying every game, every moment. Now, as KL Rahul also said in one of the press conferences, there is that definite plan to be attacking and focusing on every game one day at a time, and not think about the World Cup as one that has pressure tied to it. Whatever the process, it is surely working. And the fans too have assisted in turning this pressure into home advantage. The stadiums are a sea of blue, and the home support at every venue is staggering. With the semi-finals just moments away and age-old rivals coming up to around the corner in the semi-final, which is India versus New Zealand, maybe it will be good for the Indian contingent to look back at this journey and remind themselves of these 10 things that they have got right as a team that has made them the most dangerous one in this World Cup. Now, which of the two teams will make it to the final under spotlights, in front of a massive audience of more than 1 lakh at Ahmedabad's Narendra Modi Stadium on the 19th of November? Well, we have you covered there. Here are some of our predictions from some of our experts who have picked their top 2 teams who they believe will make it to the final frontier. Watch to know who the popular choices are.
It's going to depend on the draw, isn't it? In the semi-finals. You'd imagine that everybody is trying to avoid playing India in the semis, right? So if you decide that that India win their semi-final, and then let's say what's the table looking like for a moment? For argument's sake, you end up with Australia playing New Zealand in the other semi. So let's say India beats South Africa, and you have the Antipodeans going against each other in the other semi-final. And I'm afraid to all my Kiwi friends that Australia tend to beat you every single time in these World Cups, and it's happened again. And so you'd back Australia. So an India-Australia final, wouldn't that be something?
I think India at home are always difficult. Australia is always a threat in World Cups, but the heart says South Africa. I think my two keys to success for this World Cup will be the ability to score 330 consistently, which I think South Africa can do, but also take 10 wickets. And I think if they continue with what has been a conservative approach in the past, it won't do them well on small grounds and good wickets. And not only because he's my friend, but I think playing Maharaj and Tabraiz Shambi is going to be quite important for them getting 10 wickets consistently. And if they do that, then I'll have them as my fourth team to make the semis.
It's very difficult to go past South Africa and India at the moment. The way their bowling attacks are going and the way they are batting, I think it's very difficult to go past them. I was asked about a month and a half ago who I thought would win the tournament. I selected South Africa. Look, I could be wrong still. I just thought that their batting looked so strong, and the fact that they have had experience now in Indian conditions through the IPL, I still think they're a chance to win it. But India have played a lot better than I maybe thought they would play. I knew they'd play well, but they have been really good. And, I'm not going to change my mind because I don't do that, but I think it could be a very good final if India and South Africa take part.
I'm tipping India, obviously, to go through. They're just playing such great cricket, and as I said earlier, their squad looks so balanced. They're playing confidently. And the question for me is they look like they're just loving playing at home and in front of their home crowd. And I think if they can carry that same mentality through the semi-final, then I think they'll get through. And then the other one's going to be really interesting. Obviously, I'm a little bit biased, so I'm going to hope that Australia gets through to the final. And as you sort of said earlier, maybe Australia is the team that can challenge India, and that would make it an epic World Cup final. Having said that, part of me would love to see South Africa break their hoodoo in semi-finals and, get through to that big dance and have an opportunity to play against India, try and get a bit of redemption from the earlier match and have a good crack at them. But maybe next World Cup.
Yeah, that's one word and one team that's obviously common across all those picks, and that is India, unsurprisingly. And I'll be there at Mumbai's Wankhede Stadium to catch all the excitement when India takes on New Zealand in the first of those semi-finals. So do not miss all the buzz and updates from the sidelines right here on our special Cup of Dreams coverage. Now, all you sports fans get very emotional when your favorite sporting heroes retire. But you are just as passionate when you hear of some of your favorites returning to play. So on our Eye on Eve segment today, we have one of tennis's favorites and a star in her right, Naomi Osaka, set to reappear and make a comeback in the Brisbane International Tournament in January next year. This will be her first major event after her pregnancy, and it will be a litmus test for the new mother, one that could define her trajectory in the upcoming tennis season. And her career has been fraught with many challenges. Remember in 2021 when she refused to attend press conference because she wanted to safeguard her sanity and mental space. Osaka has had a rough few years, and motherhood has not been easy either. How is the road ahead going to be? Take a look.
Another breathtaking comeback awaits competitive tennis. From someone who's returning to the sport next month after a maternity break. She hails from Japan and is a four-time Grand Slam champion. After welcoming her daughter Shai in July, Naomi Osaka is now ready to get back on the court. She will make her appearance at the Brisbane International, a WTA 500 tournament that begins on the 31st of December. After 15 months of staying away from competitive tennis, the former world number one is ready to step onto the courts of Brisbane, a tournament that sets the tone for the season's first Grand Slam. Top-tier players will be using the Brisbane event to warm up their skills test their strategies before the ultimate showdown at the Australian Open, the first Grand Slam of the year. For Naomi Osaka, this WTA return is going to be symbolic. The tournament in Brisbane is itself making a return after a 3-year hiatus due to the pandemic. The tournament's return to normalcy and Osaka's participation signifies that there is light at the end of the tunnel, and even the toughest setbacks can be conquered. Her comeback to Brisbane is fitting in other ways too. The outdoor hardcourt at Brisbane will ensure faster play, which suits her aggressive and swift playing style.
Naomi was always wanting to come back, and she targeted the Australian summer as her starting point. So it's a natural progression for her to play here in Brisbane. She's played here before. She knows the conditions. She knows the stadium. She knows she's going to optimise her preparation for Melbourne. So it was an easy conversation, but I'm thrilled that she's coming back.
Naomi, who won the Australian Open twice in 2019 and 2021, has had some troubled times in her career in the past. She chose to stay away from the circuit in 2021 to tend to her mental health and recover from bouts of depression that she openly spoke about and came to terms with. Now, 6 months after giving birth to her baby, seems like she is ready to hold up her daughter in one hand and a racket in the other. For her, motherhood is not a hindrance but a newfound strength. Now she's patiently awaiting the day when her daughter cheers for her from the stands. However, considering the fierce nature of tennis, it's easier said than done. Being a mother opens up different challenges. Consider Serena Williams. Her journey was far from easy. The elusive 24th Grand Slam has remained out of her reach since her return to professional tennis after becoming a mother. Serena was bedridden for several weeks post her delivery. Tennis requires immense core strength and demands peak physical fitness. Osaka has spent sleepless nights and herself admitted that loneliness haunted her during her pregnancy. So balancing the demands of motherhood with the mental focus can be taxing. Getting back in shape and playing to the fullest potential was hard for Sania Mirza as well. On the contrary, Mary Kom returned to the ring to achieve some of her most notable successes. She clinched 2 world titles after her comeback post-delivery. So Osaka's return to tennis is going to be a significant new chapter. It will require a lot of resilience on her part to fight not just what is within her head, but also all the pressures and trappings that come with professional sport to beat the odds once again. She's learned to fight hardships of every kind, and this will be one more on the road for Naomi Osaka.
Time for Last Serve, a little something at the end of our show. Today we have another Good Samaritan. Afghanistan cricketer Rahmanullah Gurbaz. When the team was probably celebrating or getting together post their last World Cup game to reflect on their heartwarming campaign, Gurbaz was doing something else. And he didn't know he was being filmed. The love and warmth that we have for Afghanistan's cricketers just keeps growing. But that does it here on Firstpost. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, we will be joining you from another city, from Mumbai, where the semi-final is going to take place. That's tomorrow then. Do join us for that. But till then, take care. Bye-bye.